Hey folks, it's your boy, Bob Light here. Taking a look at some jungle music and how to use strings to build tension or really just inject a lot of emotion into your songs. And this is a technique I see a lot in 90s electronic music, whether it's house, deep house, tech house, but also jungle a good bit. And to illustrate this, what I'm going to do is just take a little snippet here. Let's hear how it sounds now, and then we'll layer some strings on top. Cool. So we have that going, and I'm going to go ahead and layer some strings on top. And to do that, there are so many good VSTs. If you're doing kind of this intelligent atmospheric jungle sound, anything from Chord from the 90s is good. So M1, even the Triton has some really good string patches, or the Wave Station. And actually, let's go with the Triton here. And again, I mean, really any Rompler type synth, the JV 1080, something like that would be great for this. And so when you go into a lot of these synths and you go to browse, you're almost always going to see a string category. And I mean, good Lord, you have an endless amount of strings in here. Now, I guess the question is, why a string? Something about a string, I think it's just a very emotional instrument. And when you hear it, especially in the upper registry in pitch, so further right you go on your keyboard, it just adds to the song so much. It's hard to put into words. And what I'm going to do is just grab this Arco string here. This is used in a lot of house music. Really good string. I like this one too. Kind of has a slow attack on it. So let's go with Analog Velvet. And if we look at the structure of the song right now, we have a pad playing here. It's playing an E minor 9 chord, and then we have a little bit of a melody up top. I like to just keep my strings in key with whatever's going on up top. So I'm just going to drag down the MIDI from the pad. And then I'm also going to grab the multi-note that I have on the pad. And so if I come down in solo, just the string. Cool. But, oh, we weren't playing a chord. So if we do it with multi-note enabled. But that's a lot, right? With strings, I find you typically don't want to do a chord. You just want to hold a single note. So since I'm playing an E minor 9, I'm going to grab just the E. So I'm going to turn off multi-note. I'm going to find my note here. And I'm going to bring this up 2 octaves. Let's just see how this sounds. And let's make this take up the whole thing. So if we played it all together. Okay, so very, sustained string. I find those types kind of keep the tension, right, in a part in a song. Maybe you have a breakdown or you're about to go into the drop, if we want to call it that. So a nice, just sustained string, holy smokes, is really good for that. So playing really high up on your keyboard. Another thing you could do here is you could play a melody with the strings. So you could do a little bit of a chord progression with the strings and have those evolve while the other elements say maybe on a single note. Now, because I have a melody up here already, this may not sound too good, but let's just try it out. So if we have this E here, and then maybe from the E, what else would be in key with the E minor 9? I guess we go up 3 octaves. 1, 2, 3. Right? Is that right? Is there a G? Let me pause real quick. Okay, yes, there is a G. I don't know music theory. So we're going to start off high and then go even higher. Let's just see how that sounds. And then maybe we go down. Actually, let's shorten this first one. And let's just see. Now we could even bring this down to another key. Something like that, but that adds to the sound even more. So those strings, again, very emotional piece of music there. Again, it conflicts a little bit too much with the melody, but if you didn't have the melody, you could add a little more movement and progression with your strings. But I really like that idea of playing a melody within the key of the song, whatever your main chord is, to really help build that tension. And then you can process this a little bit. Maybe you want a big, fat, juicy reverb on there. You may have to mess around with the volume to get it to sit well in your mix. And then another tip too with these strings is bringing them into a song. It can be a little jarring if all of a sudden a string's just bam and has a really short or no attack. So this string specifically has a decent amount of attack, so you'll hear it comes in very slowly or somewhat. I think that's actually not too bad there, but always checking your synth. Everyone's different. Obviously, you'd have to go into that amp envelope, and which one is my attack here? Let's delay. There's my attack. I can drag it out even more. It's a little too much. Right, so that's one way to bring in the sound a little more gingerly. Another way you could do it is just automate the volume. So I could come in here, go to mixer volume. Let's say I want this to come up to 6 dB, so I can start out just no sound. Right, you can make it go even longer. Yeah, that's the gist of it, folks. So use strings, awesome in breakdowns, awesome to add variety to your arrangement. If you want to get very emotional in your song, yeah, peace out. I love you.